joining us right now. It's been a while. A lot of stuff to catch up on. He is home. He is hopefully rested and ready for a fun weekend of basketball at Golden One Center tonight versus the LA Clippers. Boring games with the Clippers so far this year. Hopefully they can entertain us at some point this year. Brought to you, all of us, by Jiffy Lube. Kevin Huerter, what's up, buddy?
How we doing? You say it's funny you say it's been a while and it's already March. Like all these weeks just jumble together. I couldn't tell you if we did this last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, yesterday. Don't know how it's March already. It feels like February just started, but here we are. We're at this point in the season.
I mean, you're a busy dude. You went to I mean, we go all the way back. I'm glad you said that because it is funny how the mind works. So we wanted to start out by leaving off where we left off, which is your weekend in Salt Lake City. But to you right now, does that seem like 2 weeks ago or does that seem like 2 months ago?
It feels like a month ago at least. Like it feels like so much has happened since that weekend that it's just like I think we've only had 4 games since All-Star break. It feels like we've had 10.
Wow.
So I swear. But that's, like I said, that's where you get to this point in the season and everything is downhill past All-Star break, but it's just like you play so much so quickly.
Well, so fill us in. Best, worst, what was the best part of being a part of All-Star Weekend and just the whole weekend for you?
I think the best, like obviously it's just like the aura of being there. Like you can feel it's like a different level of excitement, like the hotel to the players that are there to the fans and the experience and every brand that's in there. Like you could tell it's just the biggest single weekend of the year. It feels like during the NBA season that it's just a lot of fun. It's super fun to be a part of. There's a lot of different moving parts. You're pulled everywhere. There's so many media things you have to do. There's a lot of appearances and there's so many people there that want to meet with you, and there's meetings, the NBPA. There's so much going on in the weekend that it is a lot. Like it's definitely not you're kicking your feet up in Salt Lake City and hey, it's All-Star Weekend, let me just show up for my event on Saturday or Sunday. Like it's a whole week-long thing. That part is like you need a vacation from your vacation. You go to All-Star Weekend and you're like, all right, now let me go get away for a couple days. But it was super fun to be a part of. Obviously outside the competition, I had a lot of fun. Just being able to experience it for the first time in person after so many years of obviously watching on TV, that it's something I get to experience again.
Well, let's talk about the competition because I only wanted it because I know you want it and it's fun and there's pride and I know how competitive you are. So I totally get it. But I get the results weren't what you want. Was the process fun for you?
It was, after I think our last game was Tuesday in Phoenix. I got to stay here. My dad came into town. He had some other things, but I was practicing for a couple of days, shooting off a rack. The process of going there, practicing, and they had like a warehouse. They had a court and a warehouse, or their conference center and a back room that you got to go practice on. And then, obviously before the competition, you had time to practice. So the process of doing it was a lot of fun. It was obviously my first time. I had been in a 3-point competition in high school. That was actually during Final Four weekend. So it was like my second-ish time preparing for something like this. Thought I prepared really well. Actually, obviously everybody does really good behind closed doors. And obviously the competition, I didn't start out great. I remember Tyler Hero got off to a bad start and he was able to find it late. He got hot. And I remember thinking it's super important to obviously start off well. Like that gets your confidence going, and it's once you fall behind, it's super tough to catch up. And I think I missed like my first 7, and I think my 8th was the first one. And the way that I had practiced it was shoot, watch the ball go up, and then immediately go into and find the ball for your next rack. And as I'm pulling back the next ball, I can see the previous shot either miss or go in. So it's all like there's a process to doing it, and it all happens super quick, obviously, if you need to make your time. And so the competition just went, and it was like before I knew it, I was on the opposite elbow shooting the 3-point or the 4-point shot, whatever it was. And you look up and you're like, damn, I only got I don't know what the number was, but it's like I haven't made anything so far. Getting to my money ball rack, and it just continues to just kind of just couldn't find it. Like it wasn't like it was one of those things where I knew I was missing or I felt off or like I was all over the place. Like I was shooting normally, going into my next shot, looking up, and it's like, all right, miss. All right, go to the next one, next shot. And all of a sudden you're on your last rack. And so it all for me, like it happened super quick. There was like such a long process, and it was, the excitement of being in that competition for, to me be out there for 70 seconds doing this competition. All of a sudden you snap your fingers and it's over. For me right away, I think the second one to the bench is like, oh, damn, I can't wait for this next time I get to do this. Like next time is going to be a lot better. So it was a lot of fun. Like I said, the experience of doing it, obviously I wish the results are different, but it was just one of those things like it was before I knew it, it was just over with.
So from when that ended to, I can't remember when you guys had to report, like maybe Tuesday. I can't remember when you guys had to be back here. What did you stick around there? Did you get any chance for a break? How did you spend the rest of the time?
Yeah, I had family come in. I had college friends come into town, so I got to spend some time with them. Went over to Vegas for like 36 hours just to get some sort of break with my college buddies. Lost a lot of money really quickly. And we
nice break.
Yeah, we had practiced Tuesday night, so I came back Tuesday morning. So I got a couple days. I think I got 1 day off of not shooting, I think was the final day. Like, so it was really like 1 day off from the court. So that part was that was brutal. Like even mentally, like going into it's like sometimes you just need like the mental break of getting away from the game, not as much the physical. Like we get in such a rhythm with our bodies that it's, if you take too much time off, you come back and you're sore and you feel out of shape, and you're not, maybe you're muscle wise and fatigue wise, you're not in a great spot. So it's super good as your body to just kind of think of like a train. It's slow and steady all year long. Your body's in such a good spot. It's really like All-Star break is your mental just break from the season and just let me get away, let me decompress. It's you need the break. And for me, it was my first experience. You can kind of see why there's guys like LeBron and Luke is going to be one of those guys, and Kevin Durant, that's kind of like All-Star break becomes, I don't say a chore, but the excitement of your 12th time isn't nearly what it is your first time, because 12th time you're like, man, I'd love to just like go kick my feet up and do nothing. So it is a lot, but you get back and by the time practice was coming around Tuesday, I was ready to go.
Kevin Huerter Show brought to you by Jiffy Lube. One of the great things about being able to talk to you is we say things on the air and then we can actually go to the source. There's the pride from the fan point of view of having representatives, and everybody was there. In fact, even Harrison was there doing Players Association meetings. Everybody in the starting lineup was there. But I worried, and I said this, I was worried because you guys, knock on would have been by far the healthiest team in the NBA so far. You're playing a lot of minutes. And from a straight up basketball point of view, I wondered, hey, I want him to go. I also want him to be on a beach for, a week. It's interesting how you explain that, though. In some aspects, physically, you're saying it's maybe better to have a little bit of a schedule and not just have a week off, at Sandals, surfing.
I do think that. Like, I think that's the case in the off season too, that it's never really good to just take a week and do nothing, where you completely pull away. You don't do any sort of body movements. You don't stretch. You're not on your feet. For me, I found personally in my experience, and from I think most of the other guys, like when you do that, you come back and you're always sore, and it takes a little bit for your body to adjust back into how much it takes to do what we do every day. That if you kind of try to stay and you do a little bit each day, those things add up. Your body stays in the right spot, and then you come back Tuesday and you haven't lost a step. You don't feel weak. You don't feel fatigued. That it is like All-Star break. They tell you like, hey, take a couple days, make sure you get away, make sure you get to a beach, but like make sure you work on your body. You're not sitting there and you're taking 5-6 days and you're sipping on margaritas and maybe you're not getting the same sleep you used to, and you're not doing anything for your body. That's like for the level of athlete that we're all at, especially at this point in the season, it's never good to just fully peel away.
Well, then you get back to work, and it's 3 and 4 nights, 4 and 6. I mean, they put you right in the grind. And Dave alluded to it earlier. I mean, the first game was the Blazers. It was a win. It was awkward a little bit the way that one played out. But then if we go to last Friday, I know you tweeted after the game, the highest level of basketball that you've ever been a part of. And as fans, I mean, it wasn't just the end of regulation. It wasn't just overtime or the second. From the first quarter on, Kevin, that was unreal basketball. What was it like to be a part of that? And how soon in the game did you realize, I think we're onto something pretty special, both us and the Clippers.
It was honestly right from the start of the game. It was just like the shot making from both sides. It felt like both teams came out hot. I'm not sure what our percentage was in that first quarter, but it felt like offensively we got off to a good start. And we know what their roster is. We know they got potentially 3 or more Hall of Famers on that team. And they need to start just like we do. They need to keep winning to keep pace with the rest of this pack. So we knew how big of a game it was going into it. And I felt like we got off to a good start. We were moving the ball. We were making shots. And it was a tie game where we were down. And so right away, that's like, okay, that's a bad sign. Like if we're shooting like this, it's tough to keep up. Like it may not go our way. And like both teams just all game, no matter both teams went to their bench. Obviously our bench all year has proven and has been a really nice weapon for us. But our bench came in playing well, making shots, moving the ball. That right away, the lazy fan is like, wow, there was no defense played in that game. And that's where like I challenge people. Like I've challenged friends to go back that said they haven't seen is like go watch that game. Watch like the level of shot making, like any open shot, like everybody was making. And so you get to the end of regulation, it was 150 to 150, let's call it. But like you look at everybody's percentages, like 4 for 7 from 3, 3 of 4, 5 of 6. Like everybody on the court who played contributed something. And those overtimes, I mean, there were so many moments where we could have packed it in, even in regulation. I'm not sure how many we were down with 3-4 minutes to go in that fourth quarter, down 11 or 12, and made a run to tie it. Right away, we have all the momentum. They kind of responded early again in the first overtime, and we came back. And it's almost like it's expected from De'Aaron at this point, even though that's not a fair thing to say. In my opinion, we expect De'Aaron to do that because he's playing at a insanely high level, and his shot making in all these games is just extremely high level basketball. So, but he's come to like, it's been a thing that we can quote unquote expect as teammates and as fans. But like Malik, I think in a large part in that game was the one who's truly just making so many plays and carrying us and made big shot after big shot. And where it looked like they may be able to pull away, he comes down and he made a 3, or he really went 1-on-5 and scored a layup. Like Malik was really the one that kind of felt like he was willing us to that win. And then, no one remembers those games unless you win. And so to be in a double overtime game for as high scoring as it was, and to grind out, a back-to-back, a win in their gym with the excitement of Russell Westbrook joining their team and all those guys I have over there, for us, it had to have been the best win of the year so far.
It's the Kevin Huerter Show, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. We're going to pause here real quick, take a break. When we come back, we got to finish this conversation about one of I think, the greatest regular season game perhaps ever played. A really nice award for Coach Brown, and, of course, tonight's rematch with the Clippers. It's the Kevin Huerter Show, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. We're right back on Sacktown Sports. Pause. You okay for time? Finish this up? Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. It is the Kevin Huerter Show, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Carmichael Dave, Jason Ross, and, of course, Red Velvet himself, Kevin Huerter. We're talking about the Clippers game. I think it's the best regular season game ever played. Obviously, I'm biased. And to your point you made, Kevin, earlier, which I thought was great, the lazy take that there was no defense. I think a real good way to look at it, or at least how I did, is not that long before that game, you had a very similar score in the All-Star game. And there was no defense in that game, but you had similar scores. When you look at how the All-Star game was played, for example, and then you look at how you guys played the Clippers, I think that tells you all there is about how competitive it was, how high level it was, how much there was defense. But Malik and De'Aaron and Kawhi and all these guys, you guys were just like unconscious for over an hour.
It was the efficiency of everybody on the court. Just I keep going back to the level of shot making for everybody that was on the court, the creativity, the plays, the execution. Like we give a lot of credit. Jay Triano, both of those timeouts at the end of the games, we came out of all our ATOs and scored. And he was the one in the huddles drawing them up. That's really something kind of Mike has trusted with him over the course of the years. You can see at the end of games, as the game's going on and Mike's standing up and Jordy's on the sideline, usually Jay is sitting down in his chair and he's drawing stuff up on a clipboard. We call timeout and boom, it's his time with the huddle. So you give Jay a lot of credit. Those were his plays at the end of the game. All of them we scored on, but it was the full course of the game from both teams. Like we can give the Clippers their respect. Like Nick Batum came in and felt like he hit every single corner three he took. Yeah. Like Kawhi, I couldn't tell you how many times he made jumpers over a hand, and it felt like HB was doing a great job on him all game. You look up, he has 38 points. And it's just like, that was the type of game it was, just both sides of the ball, just playing at a super high level.
So for Dave and I, I think it's right. I think it's the best game we've ever seen. I think a lot of people say it's the best game they've ever seen. It ended up being game number 2,999 for our friend and Kings broadcaster, Gary Gerald. The next game, you guys are in OKC. I know this is your first year here, Kevin, but Dave and I have known G-Man for so long, worked closely with him, and it meant a lot for us. I know it meant a lot for him, but you were new to this. What was the locker room scene? We've seen the video. From our view, it was incredible, but G-Man getting the chain and just that whole reaction. Take us in the locker room, what it was like for you guys.
G-Man is great. G-Man, he's with us every trip, obviously. He's been in the organization longer than anybody, right? It's everybody in that room. There's been a lot of different people that cycled in and out of that locker room between coaches and players and training staff, and there's one guy that stays the same, one guy that's always there on every road trip, and that's G-Man. So we won that game. I think we knew it going into it. They usually do a pretty good job of telling us when there's somebody's hitting a milestone or getting some sort of reward. So G-Man before the game, he just said like, "Hey, this is 3,000. We better win this." And so we went into it. Obviously, it was the first game of that 2-game set, and afterwards in the locker room, there was people that were deserving of the defensive player of the game chain, but that night was all about G-Man, and got his jersey. Obviously, we got a win on number 3,000, and he's a young guy though. Hopefully, he's got at least another 1,000 more.
There you go.
I think Jason said it the best, and we talked a lot about this. In fact, we had Gary on, and we talked a lot about how there's so many special things about this team. And I think maybe the most special to me, other than winning, is a lot of you guys are new to Sacramento. You're new. Malik Monk's new. Mike Brown is new. A lot of the staff. I mean, there's so many new players and personnel. But the way you guys not only just embrace the city, but also embrace what we've been through as fans, understanding what it means for a guy like Gary Gerald to see more losses and more losing than anyone. It's like you guys have this understanding, or have really worked to have this understanding of what you're on the precipice of, which is breaking a 16-year playoff streak, and just how much it means to this is a one-horse town, just what it means to this community.
It does. I've talked about it before, just the positivity and the positive energy that we can feel from the city and the fans has been everything. And it's easy to have a good culture when you're winning. And there's a lot of people here that have come from a lot of different places, both winning situations and losing situations. And we're trying our best to obviously change the culture and change the trajectory of where this organization has been for the last 15, 16 years. But it's easy to do, obviously, when we're winning. So we haven't lost sight of that. We still feel like we have a lot of building left to go. And we still have a lot of things left to prove this year. It's, we're 2/3 of the way there, and obviously put ourselves in a really good position, but we know the job's not finished. And we know the ultimate goal, not only this year, but years to come, that just the positivity and the support that we felt from this whole entire city and the fans, to me, I've said it, has been the single best thing since coming to Sacramento. I think tonight is going to be electric. We were just on the road and in OKC, and I know situations are different, and we're on the road against the Clippers, and LA is a dual team town, and the Clippers don't always have the best fan situation when you compare them to the Lakers, and I think we're really excited for what tonight's going to be, and how the fans are going to support us coming out, and when we've been back home, especially coming off of the All-Star break, that really the rest of the way here, hopefully till the time that we officially clinch, I think is going to be electric here down the stretch.
Kevin, I'm curious about one thing that you guys are doing so well, better than anybody in the league. It's your offense. And I know the Clippers coming into that game, we referenced that a couple times, how great the game was. They were playing pretty good defense. They were making that a point of emphasis. Yet you guys score 150, let's say, in regulation, still get 176. Kind of in your words, why is your offense, seemingly just so foolproof here? Why do you guys click so much offensively?
Just the flow, the pace, the unselfishness that we play with, really 1 through 10, the guys that are in the rotation. It's something that we talk about, we drill, we practice, playing at a great pace. We're a young team. We got a lot of young bodies getting up and down the court, make or miss from other teams, being unselfish, playing inside out. It's all great things, all stuff that we've really preached since the beginning of the year. And you've seen it. Like, it doesn't really matter guys go in and out of the lineup. You know, we didn't have Fox in that second game in OKC. He's arguably our best offensive player, and we can put up 120 on a team that's supposedly, especially the second half of the year, been one of the better defensive teams in the league. People would be surprised in OKC. So that is our strength. Obviously, we know we have to pick up the other side of the ball, and it's only going to make our offense even better. But it's a super fun offense to play in. There's a lot of accountability in it. There's a lot of different moving parts and different things we can do in our offense that we know really night in and night out. We could hang 130 on a lot of different teams and give ourselves a really good chance to win.
It's the Kevin Huerter Show, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. You got a fun weekend now. You look ahead in the schedule, and Jason and I, every morning, we're doing magic numbers. We're counting down. We're going to be on the road with you guys for the most of the last couple of weeks, doing the show live. Everybody in this town is really beginning to build, but there's also, Jason's better at this than me. For me, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm just waiting. I'm superstitious. There are 21-year-old people that were 5 the last time this team was in the playoffs. They have no memory. But for you guys in the moment, is this just like, is it game to game? Are you aware of the whole, we could clinch the playoffs soon? Is it all about a title? Is it all of them? How do you keep your focus?
Yeah, I think, team mindset right now, I think it's finishing, obviously, what we've done out strong. We know each and every night, at this point especially, we're playing teams that are looking for our position, looking for that 3 seed, looking for home court advantage. I think, obviously, we're looking to stay where we are. It'd be great if we can catch Memphis. I don't think we can catch Denver at this point. But, we're trying to obviously catch Memphis, not trying to lose our positioning in the standings. But we're pretty locked in. It's not something that we talk about or we're starting to get excited or take for granted where we're at. I think that we know the task at hand. It's, every night we got to go in and we got a job to do. This could very easily spin the other way. I think there's only 4 games that separate us and the 10 or 11 seed. So it's a bad week, can really, ruin the progress that we've done all year. So we're trying to stay consistent, trying to lock in, just go game by game and continue to stack wins.
I get the feeling Coach Brown, congratulations, by the way, the coach of the month, won't let you guys wander anyway. If he senses a mindset shift, how quickly does Coach kind of redirect that?
He hasn't needed to be honest. He's all business, most of the time, Coach Brown, but he really hasn't needed to. It's, as players, like I said, we know exactly where we are. We know where we sit in the standings. We know the teams that are behind us and the schedule we have left. So as player-wise, we have all the motivation we need to obviously finish the job here.
Yeah. Have you heard his Keegan Murray impression, by the way?
I haven't. I heard there was a video of it, but I haven't.
Okay. You should ask him about it.
Okay. I go find the video.
Yeah.
First coach of the month since Rick Adelman. That's how crazy that is. And you mentioned earlier, Mike Brown gets coach of the month. He obviously deserves it. He's the odds-on favorite, literally in Vegas, to win coach of the year. He deserves it. My rule is, anytime you, in your very first year, help your team break a 16-year playoff streak, you get coach of the year. But you made a point earlier. It's Mike Brown, and he's going to get the flowers. But it's everybody else. It's Jordy, it's Jay, it's that whole staff. It seems there's really this great team where it's like the royal coach, not just, he's the head of the snake, but it's a whole snake.
It is. It's top to bottom. It's Monty, it's Wes, it's Mike, it's our training staff, it's our assistant coaches, it's our players. It's all stuff that goes in to have a winning culture. It's the stuff that the great organizations do, the stuff you hear from organizations like the Spurs. They've done it for so long, and the Miami Heat and Golden State Warriors, and now hopefully the Kings are mentioned in the similar circles. It's a true top to bottom thing, and it's something we've been. We started the year off our very first team meeting. I think everybody in the organization had to sign a piece of paper that everybody was bought in and fully a part of doing what it takes to be a winning team and to end this drought, and nobody's wavered off of it.
All right, we'll finish with 2 quick things. Number 1, I don't know what the rules are, so let's just say for fun, are you beginning to, or have you started to center in a little bit on college basketball, and will you be filling out a bracket or 12 this year?
I do. I still follow the Terps pretty closely. I always do a bracket. For me, March Madness is one of the best times of the year, especially the first weekend. Like you just get 16 games right in a row on the same day, or 2 days back to back. So I will be watching. Can't tell you who I have yet for a national champion, but give me a couple weeks and I can let you know.
You know, Jason Ross has one of the he is the chairperson of maybe the longest running bracket pool from the station. We've got several members of your organization, which we won't name, in it as well. So we'll have to send you one. It's all for fun, Kevin. Of course, no money involved whatsoever.
I was gonna say, what's his payout looking like? What are we thinking here?
I mean, you know, attaboys.
Fun bucks.
Yeah. And lastly, because this is the first time it's made an appearance on the Kevin Huerter Show, or at least the first time I've noticed it, but how are we doing on that hoop in the background? I mean, is it pretty good, pretty high percentage, the dunks?
Yeah. This is like this is my office room. So you see, I just got a ball over here. Behind this cabinet over here. So you just get the casual, every couple minutes you turn around and take a shot.
Yeah.
But it's there. That thing has traveled with me now to, I guess, my second city, but I've lived in like 4 different places, and it was in my first apartment. So it will keep on making the rounds.
So that's a gamer hoop right there. It's there.
That's been there. That'll always be there as long as I don't break the rim.
Good luck tonight. If the game is half as entertaining as the last time you guys matched up, and I know Kawhi and PG and everybody played last night, and I say this as a Kings fan. I hope they're nice and tired when they come into Golden One, and you guys can win by 30. Either way, we know you've been busy. It's been a while, so we appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully it doesn't take us 2 overtimes to get this W, but we'll take in regulation.
Yeah. That's Kevin Huerter on the Kevin Huerter Show, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. We will be right back.